each Sunday at this time we take a look at the big stories and the big issues in crime this week, and to guide you through it all is Jackie Haynes, who served with the Metropolitan Police for 30 years. Very good morning to you, Jackie.
Morning, Samantha.
Well, we're going to start with the delicate but crucial art of e-fits, which can frequently unlock crimes and uncover criminals. So there are many times when police are faced with horrific crimes, but they can't identify those responsible. In other cases, victims have caught just a fleeting glimpse of their attackers. That's where e-fits come into their own. Jackie, how have police identification methods changed in recent years?
Well, they have. Obviously, any computer technology in all areas of our life has changed a lot, things a lot. I mean, the years, we look at this electronic computer program here, gone from the days where we had manually to put in loads of pictures of moustaches, for instance. Now it's all computerized. But actually what we started with originally was artists' impressions, and those skills are actually still being used today. And I interviewed the Met Police's facial identification officer, and he told me how they're using both those old methods and the new ones.
So we'll choose a face shape for a start, and then it will give us noses to look at, and choose a nose. I'm the only police officer that's currently paid to draw pictures, is what I say. I'm actually the e-fit operator for the Metropolitan Police. That means that I sit with witnesses, they describe someone, and I try to create an image of that person that's captured in their mind. I also use my artistic skills to create pictures of, for one thing, dead bodies, images that can't be put out to the press because they're not very nice to look at. I'll draw them so that it's suitable for release. I can draw scenes of crime. I can draw jewellery that's been stolen that's significant and people haven't got any photographs of it. I can adapt photographs, so change what an image looks like. I can remove clothing from people. Say someone's got a mask over their face, then I can take that away using a computer-based program.
Some of your witnesses and victims have been through such traumatic incidents. How does the process work? How do you get that information from them?
Well, we use what's called a cognitive interviewing technique, which the police have used for over 20 years. I have to say we don't use the whole technique because it's very, very long-winded. We use a very shorter version of that. And basically what we try to do is put the witness back into the situation they were in when the crime occurred. So we'll make them think about the weather, for instance, the sights and sounds that were going on around them, if they were going to meet someone, who they'd been to see, basically what was on their mind at the time. And all these things are aimed at putting the person back in context of the crime itself. So, and believe it or not, it works. It makes them remember more about the person's face that was involved in the incident.
Sometimes they've seen the suspect for just a matter of seconds.
That is quite true. There are people that have seen someone for only 1 or 2 seconds. There are people that have been kidnapped and have been held for days and days and days. But everyone has the ability to remember in a different way. I can't say that any 2 people that I've interviewed have been the same. They're all different. They've all got different capacities to remember. Obviously, some people are going to be suitable refit and other people aren't. It's for me to get to the bottom of the ones that can, obviously. However, one of the latest advances is that we can change someone into someone who's more angry, more friendly, blank-faced, fatter, thinner. Lots and lots of different expressions are in there, and I've got some sliders that I pull along, and it will change the expression as it goes through from miserable to very, very happy, and the witness will say stop when they're happy with the look on the person's face.
Can you give us some examples of how successful you can be?
A recent one, in fact it was last year, was when I met a young lady from the Romford area of London. Unfortunately, she'd had acid thrown in her face by a chap that had knocked on the front door. Unfortunately, it's becoming more prevalent now. I don't know why it's a terrible thing, but this young lady was actually in the burns ward at a hospital in West London. I went and saw her. The staff had been very kind to her. They put a room aside specially for me to interview her. And in between her hospital treatment, she put aside some time to see me. And she created an image that she was very happy with. I could see her getting emotional towards the end, so she was very happy. It looked just like him. That was circulated to the press via my colleagues at Romford. And within a day, a person come forward and gave us a name of that person. And he was arrested, subsequently tried, he admitted it, and received 8 years in prison.
I think we all remember those really vivid CCTV images from the 2011 riots in London in particular. People throwing bricks through windows with scarves and headgear on. How can you actually recognise people from those images?
There was an incident at Peckham police station where a young man actually firebombed the police station, and he had a mask over his face. Luckily for me, when the officers sent it to me, they'd not had anyone named for it because they only had his eyes on view. But luckily for me, the mask was incredibly close to his face, and he'd obviously had it there for a while because his lips, the moisture from the lips was visible on this scarf. So I was able to track exactly where the lips were, and I was able to demask him, take that mask away, bring his facial colour into the picture, and basically expose the whole of his face. But I would say, about 60% of those images I'm able to take those things away and expose them. Yeah.
What about the future? We've seen you use everything from pen and paper through to this computer program. Where does the future lie?
I think it's going to be computerised, obviously. I am aware that the company that supply us with this technology at the moment have worked on a 3D model, so that not only, because eFit at the moment works face on, head and shoulders, but now they've created something where that image can move, so you'll see the left and the right profile, and that can be circulated. Obviously, home computers have moved on a great deal, and so has the internet, so we will be able to circulate an image that has 3D capacity.
Wow, Jackie, it's really amazing, isn't it, what they can do these days with technology. But now the police are looking at linking up these eFits with CCTV. How's that going to work?
Yeah, well, it's once you get an eFit and it's been positively identified, what would be wonderful, wouldn't it, to be able to match that with outstanding footage you have of suspects in different occasions, a bit like the DNA database. And that's what really the facial recognition technology is, where the future is now. So you can, all those officers who have to spend hours trawling through CCTV footage, if a computer program could do that and pick out faces and match them with the police national computer, for instance, that would save so much time and man hours alone and catch people a lot quicker. But what was interesting there is also, when you talk about the future, is in the terms of the eFits, is bringing emotion into those faces, because quite often a victim or a witness who's been under a lot of trauma will remember the emotion of somebody's face so much more than necessarily their features. So if someone's angry, and I've seen it work, and it's absolutely extraordinary.
And when you see those eFits, they're always blank expressions.
They are very blank, staring eyes. But actually, suddenly, if somebody's looking sort of perhaps a con man, for instance, who's been looking a bit jovial or happy, add that into the mix, and that can really make a difference when somebody's trying to identify that person from that eFit.